And welcome to another episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I am your host, Noah Love, and today we are going college football is technically back. The SCS is back uh tonight. Well, we've got some big news coming out of the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the SEC. We will also be making some college football week zero predictions right here on the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Let's get into it. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Uh, let's start with the Big Ten. They make the Big Ten has made a rule that has banned NBA, NFL. Just if you play a professional sport, if you're and you are on a professional roster, you cannot come back. The Big Ten was the first to do it, then the SEC was the second to do it, then the Big 12 was third to do it. I believe the ACC has followed suit as well. This is this, I mean, it's kind of it's good that the conferences did this, right? But it's kind of sad that that it took the Power Four conferences coming together to do this, or not even coming together, just acting on each of their own accord to do this. It's sad that the NCAA can't even make this rule, but I mean, NCAA is 0 for in court cases, so go figure. But yeah, this was an easy rule to make. Daquan Wright's ineligible. I believe if you it, like, I know we'll talk about Tommy Castellanos in a second, but if you went to a sport or were on a professional roster, you can't come back. That's it. Tommy Castellanos wasn't on a professional roster. I don't know where he was. I don't know for Stephen Daly and Keller Wyatt. I don't believe they were on a professional roster. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, this is just common sense. Again, I kind of don't LSU. I kind of don't blame them for. I mean, look, it's not. I could obviously get on the coaches, but let's be real. Are you? Do you really expect them to? Most of them to abide by this moral code. Some of them will. But do you really expect Lane Kiffin to sit up there and not exhaust every option because his job is obviously to make LSU football players, great men, great husbands, all that. But he also has to field a team that wins. So this is why, and I said it in my last video, word for word. I do not blame the coaches because it should not even be up to them. But I'm glad the Power Four conferences stepped in and did something about it. College basketball, too. For college basketball, too, if you were on a Summer League roster, you should not be able to come back. I believe now that makes Jackson Kohler ineligible for BYU. I mean, you should not be able to come back. And look, I know this is like a one-time thing because the class of 2022, oh, they get a fifth year. That kind of opened the floodgates. Why they didn't just do this and make this ruling in September of last year so guys will have a plan. It's the NCAA. Are you surprised? But yeah, overall, I do believe. I mean, look, in terms of college sports, this is good. It's a step in the right direction. It's just sad that the NCAA couldn't do this. It had to come down to the conference commissioners, Greg Sankey, Tony Petiti, Brett Yormark. you know. So I'm glad that happened. Now I'm gonna tie this into Tommy Castellanos. Tommy Castellanos is now gonna be is now I going to Texas Tech. Would I I would not think he would be the starter. I think he would come in as the backup. Is he better than Will Hammond? I mean, probably. I would think so. But him coming in, also him. If I and look, I said the question about Texas Tech. They have weapons. They have the defense. It's the quarterback. We saw Will Hammond sometimes last year, but there's a reason they went out to get Brendan Sorsby. They wanted Brendan Sorsby to play. And obviously it didn't work out that way. So now they bring in Tommy Castellanos. I mean, this is something that wouldn't have happened back in the day, but the season is next week. And I know Texas Tech, the first two, they have two cupcakes in the first two games. So I don't know what their plan is with Castellanos. Are they thinking he's going to be ready to start by week 3? Are they like, what is going in terms of that, right? I don't know. So it's just very interesting. But Texas Tech the Red Raiders made it very clear with their actions, Joey McGuire, that they did not trust Will Hammond. I mean, that was just kind of from Jump Street, because if you did, even with the Brandon Sorsby situation, you would have not made this move. You would have been okay with him being a starting quarterback. They're like I think they made this move to be like, hey, if Will's not playing well, we can go to Tommy and we can be okay. Or they may just start. I think starting Tommy Castellanos week 1 would be ridiculous. I mean, Will Hammond's been there since last year, all spring, summer, whatever. I just think that would be absolutely absurd if he came in and he got the starting job. Like, that's not even like that. Again, they play on Saturday, so that's what, 9 days. That that would be insane, absurd, and I would not agree with that. But I think, how does he get a 5th year of eligibility? God only knows, right? I guess we talked about him being eligible and him entering the portal. Hey, hey. I mean, look, I don't know if you are the Red Raiders here. Honestly, do do you think Tommy Castellanos can help you win a national championship? I mean, he does have, I believe, 2, 3 years of starting quarterback experience, where Will Hammond doesn't have any. He's seen a lot, He and in the Big 12, he also adds a running ability that you don't have. Now he has to learn that playbook just in case Will Hammond, gets hurt, whatever the case may be. I, r- but I do think, look, they can do it. They did it. It sucks for Will Hammond, because if I'm Will Hammond, I'm kind of looking at Joey McGuire like, I thought I was going to be the starter. What's going on here? Unless Joey's told Will, look, we're looking for somebody to compete with you. But I don't know if that was a conversation. Again, I'm not in the building. But yeah, that it sucks for Will Hammond, but Texas Tech, you kind of, you would have figured maybe after Sorsby they tried to pivot, but it was so late, because when the Sorsby thing came out, it was still June, and yes, there was a couple months to go before the season, but transfer portal, everybody, like, all the good quarterbacks are gone. The season's gonna start in a couple months. But I guess they were. I don't know if you even want to say, but I guess you could say blessed that Tommy Castellanos is eligible. So yeah, that for Texas Tech is great. Now I want to get into my college football week 0 predictions. We have four big games. UNC on Saturday, UNC TCU, NC State versus Virginia, Hawaii versus Stanford, Memphis versus UNLV. UNC versus TCU, I obviously it's in Dublin this year. Belichick's first game of his second year. He's on the hot seat already. There's been a lot of drama surrounding that program. TCU, no Josh Hoover. They'll have a new quarterback. There's a lot of newness on both in both programs. So you're kind of coming out of UNC. It hasn't even been a lot about football. I mean, Bobby Petrino is the new OC. We know this. Uh, I have no idea what North Carolina's going to look like. Like last year, they were not good offensively. I genuinely and I mean this like I genuinely have. I like if you ask me what's North Carolina going to be, how good they're going to be, I can't tell you. I what I will tell you is it's a massive game for them because if they start off the year with a win, that really could and the ACC schedule this year like they have a tough one. They play Virginia, they play Louisville, they play Clemson, they play Miami. Notre Dame's not a part of the ACC, but they play them. So I don't see them doing much. Also, whoever loses this game in Ireland, I this season's going to crap. I mean, even if you win too, Iowa State won and the season didn't really go how they would have liked, right? Um, I'm gonna pick TCU in the game. I think TCU is a better football team. In Ireland, look, you had two ranked teams last year in the Kansas State Iowa State game. The week before, or not the week, the year before that, you had the Florida State Georgia Tech, where Georgia Tech upsets Florida State, and then Florida State just goes historically south. So, yeah, I believe TCU will win this game against UNC. Uh, I think because of the no preseason, I think you're going to get a little bit. There's going to be a lot of newness. I believe the defenses really take over. I believe UNC. I believe TCU wins this game 24-14 ish, somewhere around there. Again, and also judging week 0 and week 1 last year in the big games, there was a lot of defense. A lot of most of them were defensive, just slugfest. I think you could see that here because you don't have preseason. You're going just straight into it. All right, we have an ACC game. It's NC State versus Virginia. These two teams played last year, and I believe week 2. NC State won the game. CJ Bailey was incredible. Didn't count against Virginia because I guess it wasn't a conference game. Hashtag I guess, bro. I don't know. It it was stupid. Is the point. Um, I believe it's an ACC game this year. Virginia's got a chance to be a very good football team, right? It's at home, but but and I do think Virginia is going to be a good football team, but I think NC State beats them 2 years in a row. I think this because on the national stage, this is the introduction to CJ Bailey. I mean, look, he is one of the more talented quarterbacks in the country. And you will say, well, introduction to CJ Bailey. I mean, look, this guy last year, he was 3,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He had around an 80 QBR. He's a junior. He's 6'6", 213. Very lengthy kid. He's a very good thrower of the football. He's electric with his legs. He can take over a game. He won multiple games for NC State last season. I mean, in the upset where they upset Georgia Tech, he was just a problem. I mean, on his own, he was just a problem. In that Virginia game, he was a problem. I mean, I think if I could go back, I went back and and try and tried to see, how great he was last year. He was 16 of 23 for 200 yards and one touchdown in that win. He also ran for 44 yards and two touchdowns in that game. So Virginia had a tough time stopping him. I know it's on the road, and winning on the road is tough in college football, but I am going to give the edge to NC State. I think it's a close one. I think CJ Bailey is, I mean, he's just a difference. I think they win this one. You're going to get probably a 24-21 ish ball game. And I think it's going to be close. This is also technically a rivalry game, if you even want to call it that. I think NC State gets the win. Okay, now Hawaii versus Stanford. This was also a week zero matchup last year, and Hawaii at home got the win. They Stanford is a very good. I think it's going to be a very interesting. I won't say good, but interesting ball club because I don't know what to expect. They're favored by 4. Right? This is the second year under Andrew Luck in terms of being the GM. They got a new coach in there. Very interesting, right? Hawaii was able to get the win. By the way, Hawaii, this kid, don't sleep on Micah Alejandro. Don't sleep. This guy, being a sophomore last year, I think, really good. Played really well in that game. Really, with his found ability to take it over. I think he's a stud. I think at the end of last year, you saw him start to really, even though they lost some games, start to really come on and play even better each and every single week. Can he carry that over on the road against Stanford in week zero? I I think he continues that? Yes, I do. But do I think Hawaii wins? I don't. I think Stanford at home finds. I know I just went about on this about Micah Alejandro. I think Stanford finds a way to win. I think Stanford this year. I think at home, first game, new coach, new system. I do believe they get it done at home, and I do believe they get revenge for last year. Now, also, USC plays San Jose State. We all know USC's gonna. I think USC's gonna win. Obviously, my one thing I'll be interested to see. Obviously, the offense how they operate. The the line of scrimmages. Obviously, you know, are they going to look like a Big Ten line of scrimmage from an offensive defensive line standpoint? How well are their corners going to play? Really interested to see their defense. Look, San Jose State. I mean, look, they if they win by the with games like this, if you don't win by a certain amount of points, they'll get worse. So, like, I know the spread's 35 and a half, and I don't really care about that. But if they go out there and they only win by 10, 15 points, a lot of USC fans will be concerned. But if they go out there and win by 40, which I kind of expect them to do, I'll be right. Obviously, USC, they to start the year last year, I think they put up 73 against whatever opponent they played. Yeah. But obviously they're trying to make the college football playoff this year. We've talked about USC on this channel on multiple occasions. Um, so I'm interested to see that. See that game and see how they play. Now, we've got a big one. And I say big because of the G6 in the playoff. Memphis and UNLV. Obviously, Ryan Silverfield is gone. We know that. UNLV, they made they made the Mountain West Championship game again last year, lost. Got I believe Jackson Arnold will be their starting QB. Um I'm very This could be a battle in terms of G6 trying to get like G6 playoff contenders into in terms of trying to be the G6 representative. You've obviously got Memphis out of the American, and you've got UNLV out of the Mountain West. UNLV is one of the teams that people feel like can make a run right at that. And so it's a game at home. I think UNLV, their ability to run the football, I think is going to be the difference. I think you're looking at a 21 17-ish game. I do look. I know UNLV last year didn't look good to open the season, but it was the first game under Dan Mullen. I think they went on to win 10 games. They were fine, right? For their standards, they fine. They were a good football team. I think Dan Mullen's going to be hammering it home. Hey, we have to start off better and we have to play better. You don't want what happened last year to rear its ugly head. You want to come out here and you're playing a more difficult opponent, right? But you want to come out here, play well. It's at home, Allegiant Stadium, getting it done. And you know how big of a game of non-conference game it is. So I've got UNLV winning, obviously, 21-17. All right, everybody. This has been an episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, see ya.